All right, so in this next block, there's somebody who also isn't hip to indoctrination. In this case, indoctrination in firearms is a good thing, and you should know certain things. Like here's the 10 rules of firearm. You always treat every gun like it's a loaded gun, et cetera, et cetera. You don't point it at anything you're not trying to kill. Anyway, those lessons, tried and true lessons of all people who hunt and have Second Amendment savvy, they're lost on the left. But the left loves to like use guns and violence in movies. They love that, right? But they don't want you to have guns. They love for their security people to have guns. They don't want you to have guns. And now I can see why they're kind of more scared of guns than people who own guns on the right or the center, at least. Because here's a guy. It really comes in through the second clip with Coleon Noir, because he goes back and pulls political campaign footage from this guy that he's ran before and makes it so much worse than what you're seeing. But what you're going to see is a Democrat press opportunity where this guy lives in a state where you have to say you're gun savvy, otherwise you don't get to vote, even if you're Democrat, right? And he's cowboying around with no ear protection, eye protection, and way too close to the targets. And he takes a shot at the medical target with an AR-15 that he wasn't even carrying on his shoulder properly positioned. And he frags one of the journalists. Now, did he shoot the steel plate and have the steel plate frag into the journalist? Very small percentage. What most likely fragged into the journalist was the tip of the bullet that hits the metal plate at 3,000 feet per second, 3,300 feet per second. It shatters into a million little hot lead pieces. And one of those hot pieces hit the journalist, which means the bullet hit the journalist, which means the guy shot the journalist, technically, right? But that's like saying Trump survived a headshot. I mean, he really got nicked in the ear, but, he did survive someone shooting at his head. Yes, right? So there's just ways to frame things that are more accurate and clear than other ways of framing them. So anyway, let's get into it. First, we're going to have Democrat accidentally shoots reporter, brought rifles to the pistol range. That's a no-no, in case you don't know. And then Coleon Noir, anti-gun politician injures reporter while shooting at gun range. So let's check out the headlines and see if the material inside the video is clickbait or delivers on the headline. Let's check it out.
Okay, there's some nuance here, but yes, a Democratic Senate candidate hanging out with fake Republican Adam Kinzinger fired a rifle at a target. The bullet shattered, striking a reporter. This is what we believe to have happened. Now, on the right, they're saying a Democrat shot a reporter. In the corporate press, they're saying fragments and shrapnel injures reporter. They don't say it's a Democrat that did it. I am pissed off. This needs to be called out. We've got photos of what they were doing. They were shooting steel targets with rifles from 15 feet away. Seriously? Is it 15 feet? It's something like that. Clearly at a pistol range using rifles. All the comments from everybody are like, what? You want to know what's crazier? Look at their eye protection. Oh, man. These guys don't know anything about guns, should not be anywhere near guns. I love the Second Amendment, ladies and gentlemen, but I strongly advocate everybody get trained to properly handle a weapon, okay? First time I fired a gun was in a range with a guy who I'd call an expert. It wasn't an instructor. It was a guy I knew who was trained and used firearms before, and he broke it down for me, asked one of the guys at the range, give me the basics, tell me what to do, and I will do it. Everybody needs to have that basic class, that basic understanding. It's like, yeah, you can drive a car when you get your license, but you really should know how to do it. There's responsibility here. The National Review has the story. They say Democratic Senate candidate shoots reporter with AR-15, film at 11. Now hold on. As the left is saying, no, it was shrapnel. That doesn't count as shooting someone. Indeed, actually, it is. Yeah. If you fire a gun and the bullet shatters but still strikes someone, it is still generally considered to have been a person getting shot by you. They say, in the end, it's not that big a story. Ricochets, metal fragments, and hot brass occur when you're using a firearm. Thankfully, the reporter's injuries are minor. A KSHB 41 News reporter was hit by a metal fragment Tuesday while covering, you call it a bullet fragment. I doubt the steel shattered and hit him with it. What happens is, let me just show you the photos. I think I have this from Robbie Starbuck. He says Democrat Lucas Kuntz shot a reporter during a photo op today with Adam Kinzinger. This is the guy running against Josh Hawley. Shooting a reporter will be the big story, but look at Adam. He's using a scope meant for 100 to 400 yards to shoot targets 15 feet away. Thankfully, only a campaign got killed today. Democrats need to cosplaying with guns. It's getting embarrassing. It's getting dangerous. All right, I'm going to open this raw, and I'm going to zoom in for you. There's a lot of funny posts where they're like, this is a great photo for gun safety of what you are not supposed to be doing at a range. And one guy was like, this is really great for when I'm teaching my kids proper gun safety, so they can look at this photo, and then we can circle all the things that these people did wrong. Okay. Here's Adam Kinzinger using a scope to fire at steel, which is, I don't know if that's, it does kind of, nah, that's probably 20 feet. It's a pistol range. I think 21 feet is fairly standard. I don't know. I'm not a gun guy. I'm not even a gun guy. Adam Kinzinger's not even wearing eye protection. Eyes and ears, man. Have you ever been to a range before? Dude, we've got a local range on a mountain. It is just literally, it's the side of a mountain. That's all it is. There's no instructors. There's a path that was cleared. It's muddy. You walk up, and everybody knows you don't walk in a certain direction. You don't walk through this area. This is the gun range. You can hear it. You can walk around. You can find it. And when you're there, no matter who it is, when someone walks up and they're ready to shoot a target or whatever, the eyes and ears. Put your ear protection in. You put your eye protection in. Everybody should be doing that. You go to an actual range and you take off your headphones, they kick you out. They're going to be like, stop, get out. There's a really wild video where there's a guy and he's like fiddling with the gun, and then he points it to the side, and they run up and grab him and hold the gun in the air, and they take it from him and kick him out. Because people know how to handle guns, know what's up. He's got his eye protection over his head, looking through a scope, firing at steel targets from 15 feet. Let's be nice, at 21 feet. So what happens? Well, surprise, surprise. I believe the likely reality is a metal fragment. Yeah, the bullet shattered and the fragment struck the reporter because y'all are nuts. It's wild. Is Adam Kinzinger supposed to be like a veteran who knows how to fire a weapon? And look at this other guy. Yo, this is absolutely crazy. Do I have another tweet on this one? Oh, that's the Trump derangement one. Let me show you some of the responses that we've gotten from this. So the guy is not particularly, he's okay. Adrienne Curry says he has no eye protection either. This is why they want to take your guns. They haven't a clue how to.
Lucas Kuntz, a Democrat candidate, and former Representative Adam Kinzinger thought they'd show off their gun handling chops in a campaign stunt. They were out there firing at steel targets from a comically close distance, and that's when things went sideways.
Democratic Senate candidate Lucas Kuntz is facing backlash after a local TV reporter was struck by a bullet fragment while Kuntz was firing a gun at a gun range during a campaign event. Now, his opponent, GOP Senator Josh Hawley, posted to X, quote, I know the Kuntz campaign needed a shot in the arm, but this is taking it a little far. Federalist co-founder Sean Davis also weighed in saying, quote, absolutely mind-blowing insanity from a candidate for a political party that wants to take away your guns because it claims you can't safely own them. Kuntz gave this statement to Fox News Digital, saying safety is important to us, which is why the range was set up and run by a certified NRA training counselor. We acted quickly, and I'm glad the reporter was okay and able to keep reporting.
I'm here to tell you today that this guy is a goofball. This is the same guy who said this in 2021.
I'm Lucas Kuntz, and I'm running for U.S. Senate here in Missouri. You know what? Forget it. I don't have to do this type of thing. You know, I kind of got my fill of carrying one of these around in Iraq and Afghanistan. Stunts like that, those are for those clowns on the other side, like that mansion man Mark McCloskey. If you don't remember who I'm talking about, he's that guy who got his 15 minutes of fame waving one of these weapons of war around at a bunch of people who were walking by his mansion. And now he somehow thinks that that qualifies himself to be a U.S. Senator. Well, Mark, I hear you got a trial coming up pretty soon here for your misuse of a weapon. So I've got a challenge for you. How about this? If you do something that you should have done already a long time ago, and that's apologize to all those people you threatened with deadly force, I'll give you one U.S. Marine-led weapons training class. That way, you can keep yourself out of future trouble with the law, and everyone around you will be a whole lot safer.
That ad was some next level projection and karma. Irony is, the guy he's talking about giving a weapon training course to so everyone would be safer around him never actually hurt anyone. But Lucas Bakken's Democratic doppelganger over here just fragged a clueless reporter because some dumbass part of his brain thought shooting a bullet that travels over 3,000 feet per second at rusted and pitted steel targets from 10 yards away is a good idea. So not only did you end up proving that you are indeed that clown, you also proved you are an unsafe clown. Anyone who knows firearms knows shooting an AR at a still target within 50 yards is going to cause bullet fragments to fly back. I've been hit by them many times, but between 30 and 50 yards, the bullet fragments barely break the skin, if at all. But shooting an AR at still targets from 10 to 12 yards is just dumb. His goal was to show his expertise with guns, but all he did was demonstrate a lack of understanding about the realities of shooting steel. What's crazy is one of the guys wasn't even wearing eye protection during some of this. Shooting steel targets at 10 to 12 yards without eye protection is like playing dodgeball with shards of glass. I've seen the fragments fly back even at 50 yards. So at that distance, a fragment to the eye could be game over. A fragment to the skin might sting, but to the eye? Congratulations, you are now Nick Fury. And what's with the Hubble telescope of an optic they have on this rifle? You think he was trying to shoot at Neptune. The target is 10 yards away and you're using an optic that starts at no less than a magnification of 5. So I don't even know how you could even see what you're looking at with that type of magnification at that short of a distance. You're essentially aiming at individual atoms at this point. A simple red dot or an iron sight would have been more than enough, but he went with something fit for stargazing. But now I'm just being petty. So, since Petty Noir is out, here's a reminder to everyone. If you're gonna shoot still, always wear your eye protection. As a matter of fact, just always wear the eye protection. It's what keeps incidents like this from getting worse. And of course, don't forget about hearing protection either.
All right, so that's 2 weeks in a row we got FUDDs. And I did just see there's a link in the control room chat here. We do have exclusive video of Democrats training for firearms. And this is where that guy probably got his mishandling. You know, that tour of Iraq that he's bragging about didn't really help him not shoot the reporter this past week, did it? So maybe we should take a look into, I think LD has their training video here, several good examples of how to use proper firearm safety around other living beings.
Bang, bang, bang. Come out of your holes, you cowardly rabbits. Bang, bang. And I'll pour you to smithereens. Come on out now and let me see the color of your sporting blood. Okay, whap it. Say your prayers. I'm gonna blast you. I know you in there. Come on out.
Did someone knock? What's up, Doc?
Now I got you rabbit.
You, Mr. Rabbit, I got something for you.
For me? Well, let me have it.
I'll let you have it. Here it is. I got you now, you rabbit. I'm gonna blow you into a million rabbit cutlets.
Well,
Okay,
what do you know? No more.
We don't need to see the ducks with axes. That's going to bring up that whole eat the cat, eat the dog type thing. Protect the ducks and the geese, and they do migrate. All right, so I was just informed that it was the left trying to make fun of conservatives in cartoons, the kids back in the 40s and 50s, but I don't think it worked. People laughed, and they still use firearms today and protect them as part of family legacy. Hand them down generation to generation, they do, unless government confiscates them from you. So it's a thing. It's a cultural heritage thing. And it goes back to resisting a small increase of tax on the breakfast beverage of choice back in the day. So I don't know. Not a lot of countries have an origin story like that. So it is, memorialized, continues to this day. And when you have people disingenuously saying, well, these are weapons of war, I'm not going to be like the other Manchin candidate, that's, it's weak. That's weak and it's hollow. And I think it doesn't resonate with voters whatsoever. But I'm not the person designing such political ploys and campaigns for those people. What did you think, Scott? Were you convinced that firearms are too dangerous for you, the civilian, to like manage your own safety and stuff until the police come and write a report?
Absolutely not. And there's a wide open market these days for children's cartoons that demonstrate, like proper use of firearms, maybe, right? Like maybe not Elmer Fudd style, but that could be something out there that somebody could tackle as a project. But it was interesting they brought up the McCloskey family because that's really an interesting case, right? And it's like, technically, like they should have been like fired on. Like if you're pointing your gun at people, that is the trigger for people to like draw down on you and fire back. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you're a responsible gun owner, there's people pointing like drawing down on you like that. Like, they're lucky to be alive, and so that's just a crazy situation. And they got propped up as like these heroes of like, defending themselves. But I remember seeing on this show, like you guys, I remember when that happened. Like you guys were, I'm pretty sure it was this show, or maybe it came up in a later show, but just pointing out that particular incident and just the insanity of it, right? Like when you draw down like that, like when you're like the wife, like she's pointing her pistol like that, it's like that's a death sentence right there. Like you're asking for it. But yeah, it's just crazy, man. And so, there's that, but it's always just shocking to see these people just like LARPing in such a way, and then like the blowback is just, yeah, it's pretty wacky, irresponsible, and I'm just glad everyone was okay. It could have been a lot worse. Like you just something like you should just inherently know, like it's self-evident that you shouldn't shoot at a steel target,
Especially if you've been to
rifle.
Iraq.
Yeah, 10
Did
feet away,
you see the
20 feet away.
tannerite on the table? Could you imagine if they got that far? Now,
Oh, yeah.
I understand you're supposed to, I guess, mix it, but them getting lit up by like gun Twitter was so delicious. I have to say, I mean, it was amazing. And then these guys documented it themselves and then thought it'd be fun to put it out there. And that, like, the icing on the cake was the gauze on the reporter's arm tied on with a tourniquet.
Oh God.
Which,
I didn't notice that.
Whatever. But
dude, that's hilarious. That's so hilarious. Yeah, I saw a video back in the day. I posted in the chat, but it's like, it kind of scarred me for life. It's like I don't think I'll ever shoot at a steel target. It's like a dude from like a legit distance away, like 100 yards, shooting a 50 cal, and you hear the ping hitting the target, and all of a sudden you hear whoosh, hits him right in the earmuff. Dude blows his earmuffs off, and I'm like, okay, I'm never shooting at steel targets. Like I don't care how cool
Especially
that sound is.
when they have a perpendicular position to you, because it's like, if you ever played billiards, if you aim right at the cushion, it comes right back to you, right? So if the piece of the steel, like when you go to an indoor range, the steel is slanted, so it directs the bullet down to the catcher, right? The bucket. Yeah. In that situation, like why you would fire at steel targets that are just hanging there perpendicular to you, like that's just an intelligence test for Darwin Award type stuff.
Yeah, that was a Darwin Award in the making for sure. Jeez.
However, on the flip side, I heard good reports about this new Mossberg that they got out there because Jerry uses it for competitions and stuff. It's popular, but it holds extra shells, which in some places like is a big deal without you having to reload. So anyway, if it's good enough for Jim, it might be good enough for you. I'm checking it out soon. And yeah, firearms section is done with. Guy hit in the head with 50 caliber ricochet. LD, can you play that clip? That's worth seeing.
He got the Trump treatment there, dude.
50 cal is a large round, and that must have been a really solid target to be able to send. But if you do the physics, like there's a lot of energy that you're expecting to stop, and it doesn't. It melts steel and splits stuff up and fragments and ricochets, and that I I don't even think I would have felt comfortable filming that guy doing that. I'd been like, I got to be over here. I'm going to zoom in on you. You could hear it coming back too. That was the interesting part, right?
So crazy. And like, yeah, there's some god of missed headshots out there. Like we've seen it multiple times over the last few months. Like that's just crazy.
Like people pray to like Saint Anthony to find lost things or something like that, right?
Yeah.
The missed headshots guy, he's undervalued in the marketplace. Twice a year, I teach a course called Autonomy. It's a 12-week course. It teaches leadership, entrepreneur skills, executive skills, all these types of things that I saw were taken out of our education system in order to make the schooling or indoctrination system that we've all probably went through. And it has served us well enough to be interchangeable cogs in the machine of the globalists. But if we want a homestead, if we want write our own ticket, work from home job, work from anywhere type of situation, they're not exactly handing those out at the end of college. They give you a piece of paper and they're like, good luck. So reality is dropping us off here, but the demands of reality are up here. So I created Autonomy to help people close that gap for themselves so they can level up their skills to the demands of the situations that life is putting in front of us presently. Life's demands of intellect and understanding precision and complexity are ever increasing. The schooling didn't prepare us for it. The media is not going to do anything but reinforce what schooling prepared us for. And so we're going to have to take a leadership position and take steps off the beaten path to kind of blaze our own trail in life. What makes the Grand Theft World podcast unique, invigorating, exciting, and informative? Most other podcasts out there are either doing straight up interviews or they're just covering the daily news. They're covering current events from the day they happened. And that is effective. It's useful. It's a great starting point. And then sometimes these current events change during the week past the first story. So we like to give it a little time. You have to wait till some of the dust settles on these stories in order to give them accurate coverage. And the other thing that's really missing in the media landscape is covering the articles that are coming out every day. That's great. That's necessary. But who's bringing in contextual history so that you can understand what has been going on for decades and decades to lead up to the machinations and actions that we see unfolding today? So what we do here on the podcast is we cover current events. Many of these things are censored, but we wait about a week. As a forensic historian, I focused mainly through my career on the history of globalism and collectivism and things that they call maybe the New World Order. There's a lot of facts to these sort of circumstances, groups, events, activities, working groups that they've had over time. So for Grand Theft World listeners, we not only break down the current events, most of which that are censored during the week, we provide you with contextual history, we give you the source notes, the references, we do deep dives, and this really empowers you with an understanding of context and history so that you can make more informed decisions in your life. There's also a community, a membership where you guys can actually ask questions and we can get into the show and we can share evidence. And there's a town hall weekly for Grand Theft World for those who listen to it and are interested in covering the stories that we don't get to during a 6-hour show. Listening to it an hour a day, you could easily consume the week's news, but you're going to have substance and meaning and context and understanding. And with that, you can make higher quality decisions in your life. So if you're interested in more quality in your life, go to grandtheftworld.com, click podcast at the top, and we'll see you there. Thank you.
These allegations are false.
This isn't Grand Theft Auto, folks. This isn't a video game.
What are the most surprising things that you discovered once you started pulling on that thread? Who he was connected to, what institutions he was influential over, what events he participated in?
Come on, man. What are we talking about? Come on, man. No.
You don't have to think about it, dude.
I got this quote because you said you didn't know much about Klaus Schwab. I made it my job to, as soon as this happened, I'm like, okay, this guy's their front man. Let me learn about the official history of the World Economic Forum. I got their 40-year history. I got every book that Klaus Schwab has written or ghostwritten. I went through those books. This is one of the most interesting passages.
Come on, man.